Ever get the feeling something is just too good to be true?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
It's like, what's the catch?
Right.
Well, that's how I felt when I first heard about DeepSeek's Open Source Week.
Interesting.
This company is basically giving away the secrets to their AI success.
Giving away, really?
Yeah, it's
What?
crazy. Like all their tools, code, research, everything.
Wow, that's pretty unusual for a tech company, especially in the AI field.
It is, and it made me wonder what their motive is.
What do you think it could be?
Well, they're very open about their end goal, AGI, Artificial General Intelligence.
Ah, the holy grail of AI. A machine that can think and learn like a human. Ambitious, to say the least.
Right. And they believe that open collaboration is the key to getting there faster.
Makes sense. More minds working together, sharing ideas, accelerating progress.
Exactly. And that brings us to day 6 of their giveaway,
hmm
the DeepSeek V3R1 Inference System Overview.
Okay, and this is?
It's like the engine behind their powerful language models, LLMs. It's designed to make them insanely fast and efficient.
Interesting. Speed and efficiency are major bottlenecks in working with LLMs.
Totally. We're talking about processing thousands of requests per second.
Thousands. That's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, DeepSeek claims their system can process over 73,000 input words and generate almost 15,000 output words
Wow.
per second. And that's on just a single H800 GPU node.
A single node. That's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's hard to even wrap your head around those numbers. But before we get into DeepSeek's secret sauce,
Right.
can you explain why running these massive language models is such a challenge?
Sure. Well, for starters, the sheer size of these models is a major hurdle. We're talking billions of parameters.
Parameters.
Think of them as the connections that allow the model to learn.
Okay, like the synapses in our brains.
Exactly. The more parameters, the more complex the model, and the more it can learn.
Makes sense.
DeepSeek V3, for example, boasts a whopping 671 billion parameters.
671 billion. That's just, wow.
Right. Managing all that takes an enormous amount of computational power, which is why running these models is so resource intensive.
Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of the scale here. So
Okay.
how does DeepSeek manage to make it all work so efficiently?
Well, they have a three-pronged approach. They use something called cross-node expert parallelism, or EP for short.
EP, okay.
Then there's computation-communication overlap. And finally, intelligent load balancing. Let's start with EP.
Sounds good.
It's all about distributing the workload. Imagine a team of experts, each specializing in a different part of a complex project.
I see. Division of labor.
Precisely. EP does the same thing, but with GPUs. Each GPU tackles a specific part of the model, all working simultaneously.
So instead of one GPU trying to do it all, they've divided and conquered.
Exactly. And that leads to a significant increase in processing speed.
So it's faster. But are there any other benefits?
Oh yeah, it also reduces latency. That's the lag time between you asking a question and getting an answer.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about raw speed, but also
Yeah.
how quickly it responds.
Absolutely. It all adds up to a smoother, more responsive user experience. And remember those mind-boggling processing speeds we talked about earlier?
The 73,000 input tokens and all that, yeah.
That's achieved through EP. They're able to handle that many inputs and generate 14,800 output tokens per second.
Per second.
Still hard to believe.
And all of that on a single H800 node. That's blazing fast for a production-grade language model.
Okay, I'm starting to understand how they get those incredible speeds. But hold on.
Uh.
All these GPUs talking to each other, sharing data. Isn't that a recipe for a digital traffic jam?
That's a great question. And that's where their second strategy comes in. Computation-communication overlap?
Computation-communication overlap. What is that exactly?
Well, they overlap the time it takes for the GPUs to communicate data with the time those GPUs are actually processing information.
So it's like multitasking on a massive scale.
Precisely. No GPU is left waiting around. They're constantly working.
Smart. Makes sense. Okay, what about load balancing? How do they ensure no single GPU gets overwhelmed and crashes the whole system?
Think of a conductor managing a giant orchestra. They need to make sure that no one instrument is drowning out the others, right?
Yeah, a delicate balance.
DeepSeek's load balancing does the same thing. It ensures the work is evenly distributed across all those GPUs.
So no matter how many requests are coming in or how complex those requests are?
Exactly. The system stays stable and runs smoothly. It's a crucial part of their overall efficiency.
Okay, all this talk of efficiency and speed is fascinating. But let's get to the bottom line. How does DeepSeek's system actually perform in the real world?
They shared some stats from their online service running for a full 24 hours.
Oh, real-world data. Interesting.
And the results are pretty impressive. They hit a peak node occupancy of 278.
278, what does that actually mean?
It means hundreds of powerful GPUs were all working together in perfect harmony.
Hundreds. That's just, I can't even imagine. How much computing power are we actually talking about here? They averaged 226.75 nodes over that 24-hour period.
Okay.
That translates to 8,814 GPUs all working in concert.
1,814. I mean, that's just mind-blowing. The electricity bill alone must be astronomical.
It's actually quite manageable. Their estimated daily cost was around 87,072 towers.
Okay, that's still a lot of money. But I guess it's relative considering the scale of what they're doing.
Exactly. And here's the real shocker. Their system delivers a 545% cost profit margin.
Wait, what? 545%?
Yep. For every dollar invested, they get over 5 back.
That's an insane return on investment. I mean, it's unheard of.
It really is. And it all comes down to their focus on efficiency. That's how they make this technology accessible, not just to themselves, but to smaller teams and startups as well.
Which brings us back to the whole open source thing. It's like DeepSeek is giving away the recipe for their success.
Right. Anyone with the know-how can use these tools and techniques to build their own projects.
It feels like a turning point for the AI world. It's almost too good to be true, you know?
It does make you wonder what they're really after. But regardless of their motives, the impact is undeniable. They're democratizing AI, making this powerful technology available to everyone.
And that's what's so exciting about it.
Absolutely. It's a game changer.
So how does it all work together? We've talked about EP, computation, communication overlap, load balancing. But is there anything else?
Well, throughout Open Source Week, they've been releasing these tools like FlashMLA, DeepEP, DeepGM, and 3FS Thruster.
Okay, I remember you mentioning those.
And this Day 6 release kind of ties it all together. It shows how all these different tools work together to create this incredibly powerful inference system.
So it's not just a random collection of tools. It's all carefully designed to work together.
Exactly. It's like a finely tuned orchestra, with each instrument playing a crucial role in the symphony of AI.
Love that analogy.
For instance, there's DeepGMM, which was released on Day 3. It's designed to make matrix multiplication incredibly fast.
Matrix multiplication.
It's a fundamental operation in these models, and DeepGM optimizes it to a crazy degree.
I see, so that's what helps with the speed.
Exactly. And then there's DeepEP from Day 2, which we talked about earlier, that optimizes communication between the GPUs.
Right. So everything works together seamlessly.
Yeah, like a well-oiled machine. It's really impressive how they've designed it all.
Okay, so they release all these tools, explain how they work, and anyone can just use them for free.
That's the beauty of open source. It's a powerful way to accelerate progress.
But doesn't that mean DeepSeek is just giving away their competitive advantage?
I guess in a way, yeah. But it also positions them as leaders in the field, fosters collaboration, and attracts top talent. It's a long-term strategy.
A long-term strategy, I like that.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for developers and researchers? What can they actually do with these tools?
Well, they can learn from DeepSeek's system, understand how it works, and apply those techniques to their own projects.
Oh, so they don't have to start from scratch. They can build upon what DeepSeek has already done.
Exactly. And that could lead to some really exciting breakthroughs in areas like natural language processing, machine learning, and even AI-powered applications.
Applications. So this isn't just for researchers in a lab. This has real-world potential.
Absolutely. This could revolutionize all sorts of industries.
It really does feel like a new era for AI.
It does. It really does. It's fascinating, isn't it? Giving away these incredible tools for free.
It's a bold move, that's for sure. But yeah, it makes you wonder, what's their angle? Why be so generous?
Right. Like, what's in it for DeepSeek?
Is it pure altruism? Or is there some deeper strategy at play?
I think it's probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge potential for accelerated innovation when you make things open source.
Because more people can work on it.
Exactly. DeepSeek is basically inviting the entire global AI community to contribute. It's like crowdsourcing research and development on a massive scale.
So instead of being limited by their own team size, they're tapping into the collective brainpower of, like, the whole AI world.
Precisely. They're creating this ecosystem where innovation can just flourish organically. And that's incredibly powerful.
That makes sense. It's like a win-win for everyone. The community benefits from these amazing tools, and DeepSeek gets to.
Well, they get this huge reputational boost. In the AI world, being seen as a champion of open source is a major advantage.
It's like good PR.
Yeah, exactly. It helps attract top talent and it positions them as industry leaders. It builds trust within the community.
Trust is huge,
Yeah.
especially in a field as rapidly evolving as AI.
Absolutely. But let's not be naive here. There's also the potential for future returns, right?
What do you mean?
Well, just because these tools are free now doesn't mean DeepSeek won't find ways to monetize them down the line.
So maybe premium support services for companies that need help implementing the technology.
Yeah, or specialized hardware that's optimized for DeepSeek system, things like that.
It's a smart long-term strategy. Give away the tools to build a community, gain trust, establish leadership, then find ways to create value-added services.
Exactly. It's a win-win for them and the community. But beyond those practical considerations, I think there's also a genuine belief in open collaboration at DeepSeek. Like they really believe in knowledge sharing.
It is refreshing to see a company kind of bucking the trend of secrecy and competition that's so common in the tech world.
I agree. It's like they're genuinely trying to democratize AI, making it accessible to everyone, not just the big tech giants.
That's a powerful message, and I think it resonates with a lot of people. But we should also acknowledge that DeepSeek's system isn't a silver bullet. There are limitations and potential downsides to consider.
Right. It's not perfect.
We already talked about the complexity of managing a multi-GPU system and the need for specialized hardware. What are some other potential drawbacks?
Well, one concern is fragmentation. You know, when you open source something as complex as an AI inference system, you run the risk of different developers modifying it in incompatible ways.
Oh, I see. So you end up with a bunch of different versions that don't work together.
Exactly. It can lead to a fractured ecosystem, which makes it harder for everyone to benefit.
So how do you prevent that?
Well, DeepSeek will need to establish clear guidelines and standards for how developers can modify and use their tools.
It's almost like setting up a constitution for their open source community.
A constitution, yeah, to make sure everyone is on the same page.
Makes sense.
Hmm.
What about support? Like who maintains this system and fixes bugs?
That's a crucial aspect of any open source project. Community involvement is key, but DeepSeek also needs to remain actively involved.
Providing guidance, fixing bugs, issuing updates.
Exactly. If they don't, the project risks stagnating or becoming vulnerable to security threats.
So it's a big responsibility, but it sounds like they're aware of the challenges.
Yeah, I think so. They seem committed to fostering a healthy and active open source community.
That's good to hear. Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the bigger picture. What does DeepSeek's work mean for the future of language models and AI as a whole?
It's exciting to think about.
Right.
Right, we're just scratching the surface of what's possible. And DeepSeek's focus on speed, efficiency, and accessibility could really accelerate things.
It's like unlocking a whole new level of potential.
Imagine AI-powered assistants that can understand and respond to our requests in real time, or personalized education platforms that adapt to individual learning styles.
Wow. And what about creative tools that can help us write music or generate art?
Exactly. The possibilities are practically endless.
It is an exciting time to be following this field.
It is. DeepSeek is definitely helping shape the future of AI in a positive way.
It really is inspiring to see a company like DeepSeek leading the charge with this open approach.
I agree.
It feels like a true turning point for the AI world.
Definitely a shift in the landscape.
So where do we go from here? What are the next frontiers?
Well, for DeepSeek, or for large language models in general.
Both, I guess.
Yeah.
What are the big challenges, the exciting new possibilities?
Okay, well, it's like we've opened this door to a vast uncharted territory, right? So many avenues to explore. One area that I'm particularly interested in is edge deployment.
Edge deployment.
Yeah, running these powerful language models on smaller devices. Like right now, DeepSeek's system is designed for those powerful H800 GPUs.
Right, those massive server farms.
Exactly. But imagine if we could bring that same level of performance to, say, your phone or laptop.
Oh, wow. No more reliance on the cloud. We'd have AI power right at our fingertips.
Exactly.
That would be a game changer.
Think about it. Personalized AI assistants that are always available, smarter mobile apps, more responsive IoT devices.
Even advancements in robotics.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The possibilities are pretty much endless.
It's mind-blowing, really. But DeepSeek's already dealing with hundreds of GPUs.
Yeah.
How could they scale this up even further? Like to handle even larger workloads in the future?
Oh, that's a great question. Thousands or even tens of thousands of GPUs.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that would require some pretty significant breakthroughs for sure. In distributed computing, new communication protocols, maybe even entirely new hardware architectures.
New hardware.
Potentially, yeah, to manage that kind of scale. And then there's the data.
Oh, right. These models need a ton of data. to train and learn.
They're data-hungry beasts. And as they get larger and more sophisticated, they're going to need even more data.
Which brings up another point. Where does all that data come from?
Exactly. It's the fuel that powers these AI engines, but it also raises important questions about privacy, bias, and ownership.
We can't just ignore those concerns.
Absolutely not. We need to make sure that data is collected and used responsibly and ethically.
It's a good reminder that technology doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Right.
There are always societal implications, and we need to be mindful of those as we continue to develop AI.
I completely agree.
DeepSeek's Open Source Week has given us a lot to think about.
Yeah, it has.
It's been a fascinating glimpse into the cutting edge of AI, and has also highlighted the importance of collaboration and open knowledge sharing.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's an exciting time to be following this field, and I, for one, can't wait to see what the future holds. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of DeepSeek and their incredible open source initiative.